My name is Crystal Escalera. I'm one of the counselors here. I don't know if our other counselors are in here or not, but we have 3 other counselors. We have Lori Easler, Dan Dornbeer, and then Randy Ensley, who are our counselors. So if you have questions maybe after tonight, you can always ask us. Feel free to call us to ask any questions that you might have that maybe didn't get addressed. But we're basically going to cover the College Credit Plus meeting that we're supposed to give to you guys about the College Credit Plus courses that we offer here in our building. I'm going to turn it over to the college representatives here in a minute to come on over here, and they're going to talk to you guys about the state program and what it entails and the eligibility requirements and what each specific college is offering for the students, and then what the criteria is to become eligible for College Credit Plus. So I will turn it over to Mandy and Scott. Jennifer, do you want to come on up here too?
Good evening. My name is Mandy Knight, and I am the transfer coordinator and a first-year advisor at Marion Technical College. I do all of the CCP advising for the students who are taking courses on our campus, and I deal with students who are transferring from Marion Tech to another 4-year university.
Scott George, academic advisor at North Central State for the College Credit Plus program. Deal with students who are going to be taking classes either online or on campus at North Central State.
Good evening, I'm Jennifer Fry. I'm the Director of Enrollment Services for the Ohio State Mansfield campus. So everything from enrollment to admission to the orientation side of all of our programs.
All right, so tonight we're just going to go over what College Credit Plus is and about how your student can become involved in the College Credit Plus program. We have a PowerPoint that is made by the state, so it's the basic laws that Ohio has when it comes to CCP, which is the initials for College Credit Plus. So College Credit Plus is Ohio's name for their dual enrollment program. It allows students to earn high school and college credit at the same time. Students can enroll in college courses. They can take these college courses online at their school or at the university or college itself. College Credit Plus can start as early as 7th grade, and it goes through grade 12. When a student graduates, they're no longer eligible for the College Credit Plus funding. In order to take college classes, the student has to complete an entrance exam or whatever is required by the college to be eligible for the College Credit Plus. A student can apply to any college that they would like to apply to, so they can go to a public or a private institution, and they can take classes at multiple colleges. So they could take a course at NC State, a course at OSU Mansfield, and a course at MTC. It's whatever best meets the student's needs and where they can get those courses. Students can basically choose any college courses that they want to choose right now. It would be determined by their placement testing. So we use test scores for a student to test into a specific math course or a specific English course. College Credit Plus does not cover the foundation level courses. So any kind of foundation level remedial courses would not be covered under College Credit Plus. And a student must live in the state of Ohio to take advantage of the College Credit Plus program. So as I said earlier, these credits can be used to satisfy the high school requirements and also earn college credit at the same time. So a student could take an English course at the college, and that English course would be earning them their 3 hours of college credit and at the same time satisfying one of their high school graduation requirements. 3 hours at a college equals 1 high school hour. In order to receive the credit, a student must pass the course successfully. Students can take classes starting summer semester. They get 30 hours a year. So the 30 hours that a student can get include their high school hours and their College Credit Plus hours. We get into this a little bit more later. So from summer, fall, spring, they can use 30 hours of College Credit Plus funding. And as I said earlier, they can take the courses that are offered at the high schools. They can take the online courses if that's a good option for that student, or they can come to the campus and take classes on campus. In order to be eligible, like, every college has different eligibility requirements. At Marion Tech, I can use test scores from the ACT or the AccuPlacer, and then the state is mandating some new laws where we'll be able to use scores from any type of entrance test starting in spring. Do you guys see your requirements? Or?
For North Central State, currently we're doing the ACT scores and the AccuPlacer Next Generation. If you happen to have old Compass scores for any reason, we could use those as well. Same for Ohio State.
Okay, so these are just examples of the different placement tests that you can take. Those tests are often offered here at Pioneer. If you need to get a placement test, we'll come out. And Marion Tech, we're still on the old generation AccuPlacer right now, so I can come out and give paper pencil assessments, or we can use the online assessments from other colleges. So basically, these scores are to indicate that a student is college ready in at least one subject area. So if a student tests college ready in the area of English, then they can take college credit courses. Each college will review the test scores and review high school transcripts, and also look at guidance counselor recommendations for a student who is coming to take college credit plus classes. Basically, high school is still the best place to prepare a student for college. It's definitely something that we believe that high school is important, but if a student is ready and can take advantage of the College Credit Plus program, then we definitely encourage them to do so. So if a student's test scores are not what a college deems college ready, then we can look at different factors. We know sometimes students just aren't the best test takers. So things that we would look at would be an overall GPA of a 3.0 and a recommendation letter from someone at the high school. So then after we have these test scores, the next step to become a College Credit Plus student would be the student has to apply for admission to the college. So whatever college they're interested in, they would reach out and they would find out what the admission requirements are for that college, and then the college makes the final decision on if that student gets to become a student at that college. So at Marion Tech, to apply to be a student, we have an online College Credit Plus application, and we also could accept a paper application. So then once the student is admitted to the college, they can work with their guidance counselor if they're planning on taking the classes that are offered at their high school to get enrolled in those courses. If they're wanting to take online classes or to work at the college itself, they would work with the college advisor to discuss what the best option and the best course load would be for each particular student. If they're looking to transfer on to a four-year university after they graduate from high school, or a different two-year university or two-year college, we could look at those transfer options too. So basically your students would be working closely with the high school counselors and the college advisors at the same time. And here again, it's back to those assessment scores. So we would look at, I always look at what courses the student's taking on their high school load. If I have a student who's taking a lot of math at the high school and they want to add more math into their college schedule, I would usually advise against that. So it's basically just taking an individual look at each student and how that student can best be successful in their college courses as well as their high school courses. That's what we're aiming for is student success. And here again, we're just looking at the courses that can satisfy the high school and the college requirements, and choosing the courses that are right for students. Okay, and they can be college level, they cannot be the remedial courses, and a student also cannot take a religious course under College Credit Plus. So grades, when a student is taking the college courses, they're going to be earning a grade that's going to be on their college transcript. So this college transcript is going to be something that's going to follow them for forever. The grades will also be reported on their high school transcript and factored into their high school GPA. So if the high school uses a weighted grading scale, the College Credit Plus courses will be weighted in the same way using that same scale. Okay, And so they can take, like I used the example of the English earlier, they can take the classes at a college and then it will satisfy the high school requirements. So they wouldn't have to take that course at the high school. But they still must complete their end of course exams that are required for the graduation right now. Here's the 30 hours that I was talking about. A student can be enrolled up to the 30 hours, including the high school courses. So basically what you do is you've got 30 hours, you take how many high school credits a student's earning, multiply that by 3, subtract it by 30, and that's how many college credit plus hours a student would have. So if a student has 5 hours that they're taking for high school credit, multiply that by 3 to make it equivalent to the Carnegie units, and subtract that by 30. That would leave them with 15 hours they could get throughout summer, fall, and spring semester. Students can divide those up however they want to divide those up. Oftentimes we'll have students who are incredibly busy in the fall, so they might take just one course in the fall and other courses, more courses in the spring. They do not have to use all those hours. Here again, it is whatever, it's each student's individual story, so whatever can make them most successful. The maximum number of hours a student can earn from 7th through 12th grade is 120 hours. If a student wants to take more than 30 hours, they can do that. It would end up being a self-pay course. So if a student is at 29 hours and they want to add on another 3-hour class, the family would be responsible for paying for that entire 3 hours. It would not work out that they would be able to just pay for the 2 hours. So it's whatever course puts them over that 30 hours, they have to pay for that entire course. So that is something that does happen in some scenarios. And with that, if the student chooses to go above the 30 hours and the family chooses to be self-pay, the family would also be responsible for the books, the lab fees, and anything else that would go along with that course. Okay, so these are differences between high school and college. So when your student becomes a CCP student, they are still a high school student, but they're also choosing to be a college student, and therefore they are treated as a college student when they're in the college classroom. So high school students, they sometimes have tests weekly. They oftentimes have lots of homework. Usually at the end of every chapter, they may have a test. When a student comes to college, it's a little bit different learning style. A student might have a midterm and a final, and that might be their grade. So it's a very different learning style. So when a student's choosing to become a college credit plus student, it's looking at those differences between high school and college. Oftentimes college professors aren't going to accept late work, and I'll have students come into my office and say, I was out of school, I didn't turn it in, and it's a different, kind of a different mindset. Sometimes your professors will let them turn in late work, but it is definitely being responsible for your work, and a lot of times they're not as easygoing as a high school teacher might be, because they do have higher expectations in a way. In high school, oftentimes the information is often given in class. In college, oftentimes the student has to utilize their resources and come up with their own research to understand what the topic is. Lots of research papers and things like that. And here again, oftentimes there are more grades in high school than you will see in a college classroom. A lot of times it's that same situation. You might just have 2 big grades and that'll be your score, or a course where 60% of your grade is your final exam. So in high school, parents are strong advocates. They work closely with teachers and counselors. When you get to college, parents kind of become more of a mentor. They kind of support and encourage their student to become more independent and become an advocate of themselves, which is also happening in high school. When a student gets to college, oftentimes, all the time, unless the parent fills out a FERPA release, I can't just tell parents how their student's doing. All the time I have parents say, I'm paying for this, you have to tell me. So it's kind of a different mindset. So when a student's choosing to become a college student, you are trying to encourage them to be more independent and reach out to their instructors. It's one thing I say all the time to my students, just talk to your instructor. The worst they can tell you is no. So this is the FERPA that I just talked about, and that's something that when you become a CCP student, you do sign that release, and I still can talk to my families during CCP about their students. So in here again, the benefits of College Credit Plus, one of the big benefits is that you're earning your high school credit and you are getting college credit at the same time. I have many students, and I keep seeing more and more students who are graduating with an associate's degree before they're getting their high school diploma. So with the right planning, that's definitely an option for a lot of students. I have students who are going through the 30-hour certificate programs, or I have students who just get a few credits here and there, but those credits will be on their college transcripts and most likely transfer to whatever college or university they want to go to. So they'll be saving time and money for their future. So students can experience college early. They can start to understand college life. Our campus is a very small campus, but students really seem to love going away from high school and coming to campus and being immersed in classes with other college students. And they also can save on the textbook. Textbooks are covered under the cost of CCP. So really, unless a student fails a course, they're getting all of this college credit for free. You do have to consider the college deadlines for, about to lose my voice as well, for drops and ads. So every college will have a final drop date. At Marion Tech, a student would have 2 weeks to choose to drop a course, and within that 2 weeks, they would be able to drop the course and have nothing on their transcript. It would be like they had not taken the class at all. But if a student chooses to drop the course after that 2-week period, they'll receive a W on their transcript, and they might have to pay the cost of the course back to the high school. It's the same if a student ends up failing a course, they might have to be responsible for paying the cost of that course back to their high school. And here again, the grades that the student earns are on their transcript forever. So if a student is doing phenomenal in College Credit Plus and has a 4.0 GPA, that'll look great when they're applying to colleges in the future, but it also could work the other way as well. So as advisors, we definitely monitor those grades and reach out to students to try to get them to all the resources that we have. And as a CCP student, you are also a student of that college, so you would have the resources that are available to all of our college students, such as the computer labs, the tutoring. You have all the same benefits because you are a college student. Yeah, sure.
All right. Your academic performance at college, because you are a college student, can impact your future there. You are under the same restrictions that traditional students happen to be under. If you fail a certain number of classes, if your GPA drops below a certain point, if you hit the academic probation or suspension or dismissal requirement, that could happen to you if your grades happen to get there. Additionally, failing electronic classes does impact future financial aid potentially. These are credits that you are going to be earning. These are college credits. So when you go off to go to financial aid, you will have hours attempted and hours completed and a certain GPA that may impact financial aid in the future if you are not successful in the courses that you take. Expenses for College Credit Plus. At public colleges and universities, there are no costs to the students or the families for tuition, lab fees, course fees, or textbooks. If you decide to go to a private college, you may incur a small cost per credit hour. Again, if we go back to the failing classes, if the failing classes, the school may decide to bill you for that. So there may be costs involved there as well. Optional expenses, responsibility. So if in North Central State, we do not require parking passes. So if you go to a place that requires a parking pass and you have to pay for it, that is on you. CCT does not cover that. Transportation, we have University County Transit that goes from our main campus to the Kehoe Center out here in Shelby. But if you happen to be a place where you have to get on a bus line to get to the campus, that is also on you as an added expense that is not covered by the state for College Credit Plus. Supportive services, high school counselors, Ms. Escalera, a great example. They are going to be your #1 resource. They will always get you in touch with the person at the college, who happens to probably be one of us, who's going to get you to whatever you need to do, be it tutoring or counseling or career services or whatever it happens to be. Your advisor is going to be the best friend that you let them be while you are at college. You You come to North Central State, we'll be friends, we'll laugh, we'll cry, it'll be amazing, but we are here for your success to get to where you want to go. And again, the same support for College Credit Plus that goes to other students. So, like I said, tutoring and career counseling and all sorts of resources that are available at all of the different colleges that are available to you. Because again, while you still are in high school, you will be a college student once you join the College Credit Plus program. For athletes, confirming that their school is an OHSAA member and the requirements. So for athletes, you have a certain number of units that you have to maintain and a certain grade point average that you have to maintain as well. That is something that you will want to discuss with your high school athletic representative to be sure that you can maintain your eligibility, because we don't want you to miss out on any games, activities, or anything like that. Summer term CCP courses may not be used to bring a student into compliance. So it goes for the fall term and it goes for the spring term. The summer courses that you take are not going to help at all for the number of hours that you would need to maintain athletic eligibility under OHSAA regulations. Will the course credits transfer? General education courses, technical courses will transfer from one public college to another. So within Ohio, if you take a speech at North Central State, it is going to transfer to Marion Tech, and it is going to transfer to Ohio State. Conversely, it's the same sort of thing. There are specific courses, so if you start taking upper level psychology classes, there is no guarantee that it is going to transfer to Ohio State. It is always your job to talk to the college that you will be transferring to make sure that you're taking the right courses with whatever school that you're working with within the confines of high school. Transfercredit.ohio.gov has a lot of helpful information to let you know if course A does equate to course B to the school that you're looking at.
One thing to just pop in about the transferring is, if you're going to do College Credit Plus early, it is, regardless what school you're looking at, it's for the requirements for that major that you're going to eventually go into. It will depend on that year you're entering. So you may be looking now and say you want to go into mechanical engineering and you're like, hey, they need this math, this science. If there's any kind of adjustments made to that program between now and when you enter college, then that may not count. It may count differently. So just remember that you're looking at what the requirements are right now, but it will depend on when you actually get into college, what the actual requirements are, and how those classes will transfer in. Because I know sometimes people will say, well, it did count before, and it did, but you also came to college and 2 years later, and they've made some adjustments to whatever the requirements are. But usually if you stick to the general classes, they're going to be about the same. It's more of those real required math and science classes for the different majors. So just kind of keep that in mind too as you're looking at it.
The other thing to keep in mind is that advisors and directors of enrollment and other counselors, we have no say in the curriculum, so if it changes, please don't come yell at us, because it wasn't our fault, we didn't do it. We have no power over that.
Or your counselor.
Or the counselor. Leave Mrs. Escalera alone. Being college ready is more than just being academically ready. College is hard. I don't say this is scary, and I don't want to be the bad guy. I don't know how I ended up in this part of the presentation.
They taught
No.
you well.
Man, college is hard. There is a lot of work involved, especially for a teenager who has sports responsibilities or band responsibilities or other extracurriculars and jobs, and you still have all of your high school stuff as well. We don't say this to scare you. We say this to point it out and make you aware that it's not just as simple as your first period English class where you sit in class, you do the homework, and then you're done with it before you leave for the day. This is a lot of outside time that is involved. If you have had an easy run in high school, it may be easy in college, and I hope that it is because we want you to be successful, but you have to understand you are committing lots and lots of hours of time outside of your daily schedule between high school and everything else. Grades earned in College Credit Plus are for high school and for college. So there is a possibility that if you are taking composition at one of the schools and you're planning on using that for your 4th unit of language arts and you fail, there may be a graduation issue. This is something that you have to keep in mind, that the things that you're doing within the colleges also impact your high school. It's not just, oh, I'm going to sign up for a class, I don't like it, I'm not going to go. This is important. This impacts your whole future. This is not just a thing to do. This is the start of your college career, and it's something to take very, very seriously. Again, I talked about earlier, calculation of financial aid. You come in, fail a couple classes, eventually get to a college. The colleges are going to know that you went to another school and took credits or tried credits and failed. So take this very, very seriously because this is the whole start of your academic career. Deadlines. By April 1st, you must complete and return the letter of intent form to your wonderful, magnificent, fantastic counselor. And you also have to be cognizant of your ACT, SAT dates. I know a lot of people are going to be taking them. How many juniors do we have in here today? So you're all going to be taking the ACTs or have taken them to make sure that we do the dates, so we have everything in place. For all the colleges, they have their own requirements in terms of dates. So you want to be sure that if you know the school you're going to, you have the test date in place so that you can take it, get the scores out there, be considered college ready, and start on this fun ride called College Credit Plus. Yeah, now there's a website. Ta-da! So other questions, ohiohighered.org/CCP. That's the state website that has all of the information, frequently asked questions, resources, links, all the good stuff that we get is from the Ohio Higher Ed website.
You guys want to cover your individual school requirements
For,
CCP, like how a student would go about?
I don't know. I'm kidding. If you were looking at North Central State to be starting for next year, April 1st, you're going to have the deadline. You're going to go to the North Central State website, and you are going to go to Admissions and College Credit Plus. And from that website, College Credit Plus has all of the information that you need, when to apply, when to have your testing deadline. If you are going to be taking classes out here at Pioneer, you'll need to let Mrs. Escalera know that you're planning on taking classes, then they let us know. If you want to come hang out with me at North Central State, then you get in touch with me, you set up an appointment. Again, we go back to the laughing and the crying and all the other stuff. We talk about your courses, we figure out what you're going to do for the next term, and then we set you up for an orientation and registration. And that's how we do things at North Central State.
Marion Tech is very similar. You have to get that letter of intent into Mrs. Escalera by April 1st. If you're going to take any courses that might be offered here at Pioneer, we do ask that we know those by May 15th. And if you want to take courses at Marion Tech, you would set up an appointment with me, and I would get you through the admissions process. We do have an online application, and I do have some paper apps back there as well. Those can be turned into Mrs. Escalera, and she'll get those to me if you're doing a paper app. But if you're taking courses on campus, the deadline's not as hard. I can get students enrolled up until we start courses for any term, as long as there's space.
For us, everything is processed online. It's on our website where you would apply. Again, following that April 1st deadline, our deadline for applications for fall would be May 1st, October 15th for spring, and then February 15th, I think it is for summer. So you'll see those deadlines on the website. Our ACT requirements, we also do SAT and active placer, but ACT is kind of the easiest to understand. English, you need to have a minimum of an 18. For the math and science, you need a minimum of 22. And that's on these sheets in the back too. And this website, and this presentation, so you know, is online. So you'll be able to find that online and reference that as well. But that's what Ohio State Mansfield and Ohio State Columbus we require for our admission requirements, because we know how important it is to really be prepared to take these classes. Because what you also have to consider is that classes are at certain times, and you have to make sure that factors into your class schedule. So if you're taking classes here, you have to allow enough time to get to those, to the campuses. And then also, if you're doing any other kind of activities and events on campus, again, factoring that in. How many can you realistically take off campus, and the timing? I know that can be the biggest hurdle for a lot of students, is the timing. Maybe they do an 8 o'clock class and the next one's not till 2. Or what do they do for 4 hours, in between, and they have to make it back for practice. So, just really kind of think about that, and that's where your high school counselors come into a lot of help as well, into saying, here's realistic, what you can do and what you can expect. So, just a lot of things to really keep in mind. You have some time to think about it. It's like you have to decide tonight what you're going to do. But those are really important things to keep in mind as you consider this is for you. And that's why we're here to help you tonight and after that. We all have visit days on our campuses, so make sure you come visit our campus, and so you can see what kind of programs, meet some of those advisors and professors and such that you would actually be working with as well.
Okay, so from Pioneer standpoint, our superintendent is a big supporter of College Credit Plus. He is, like is willing and wants you guys to participate in the College Credit Plus program. We actually offer quite a bit of academics here at Pioneer. We offer 6 College Credit Plus math courses, 2 history classes. We offer 2 English classes, and then we have labs that have College Credit Plus built into their lab. And our labs that we have, so I can kind of go over what we have here at Pioneer. We have English Comp 1, English Comp 2. We have American Culture and History to 1877, American Culture and History from 1877. We have a Business Mathematics, Probability and Statistics, College Algebra, Trigonometry, Calculus 1, Calculus 2. And there are labs that have college credit currently in them. Our Criminal Justice, Engineering Design, Exercise Science, Health Assistant, Homeland Security, Industrial Electricity, Precision Machining, Web Page Design, and Welding. So all those classes have extra college credit that the student can earn. Okay? So we also, in the spring, if a junior is interested in any of our academic courses, so say they're interested in that English or that science, or English history or math class, they can sign up for the AccuPlacer test that will be given here at Pioneer. I usually will administer that test. There's a sign-up sheet that the students will come down to Student Services and sign up. And then their responsibility. I always tell them they have to make sure that I can help them so much, but they are responsible because they are going to be college students. So they need to make sure that they fill out the application for the college that they're wanting to go to. For example, North Central State College, they have to have the application in before they can take the test. So if they don't have that application completed, they can't take the test. So it's their responsibility because now that they're going to be college students, they have to do that college application online. And then they get a voucher, and when they come and do the test with me, because I know that they signed up for it, I know that they submitted an application to the college, then they can take that test. The test is really good with the AccuPlacer because it lets them know instantly what score they got. So if they got, example, a 258 and the cutoff is a 263 for the reading, then that means that they're not eligible for that class to get college credit right now. I always want to make sure students realize they're still a junior or senior in high school, at least here at Pioneer. So it's okay not to be college ready. It's great if you are, but you're still not actually at the college freshman year. So it's okay if, I have students that sometimes cry about it. And I get because, they're looking forward to earning that extra college credit. But again, maybe right now it's just not the time for them. Or maybe they're just not great test takers. I'm one of those people that are like that too. So I want the student to understand that it's not the end of the world that they don't test college ready right now. They might be ready at their end of their senior year to be college ready to get their scholarship that they need or anything like that. So I want you guys to be aware about that. Sometimes I think as parents, I'm guilty of it too. We put pressure on our kids, like you can save money. This is a great way to go. And then reality hits and they don't get that score. So I just want you guys to be aware of that too. And sometimes if they get like a 262, we'll say, you know what? Come back and take that test. I know sometimes the colleges will charge an extra fee to retest. And sometimes I think it's $25 or whatever it is. Pay that $25. If you're that close, pay that $25 to try to retest to see if you can qualify. Because if you're that close, there's probably a good chance you're probably going to be fine the next time you take it. But we do offer those classes here in our building. The great thing about having those classes here in our building is you don't have to worry about your child driving to a college campus. If our school is closed for a snow day, that means because they're taught by our instructors, there's not going to be a college class that they have to attend. If they're taking one on main campus, whichever college they choose, they are still required to go even if we have a snow day. And I know rarely do ever the colleges close. So it's something you might want to think about. A lot of classes offer online classes nowadays. We have students that are doing online psychology, sociology, which is great. But you know your student the best, and you know if they're capable of being independent and working on their own. Because sometimes if they're not, maybe the online class isn't the best thing for them. Maybe they need to actually have a physical, person in front of them teaching them. It just kind of depends on that student. And again, going back to like having to be financially responsible, if a student withdraws from that class after their withdrawal date, you as a family will be asked to pay that money back. If they fail a class, you again will be asked to pay that back. Yes, you can save a lot of money. We have a lot of students take advantage of saving a lot of money, especially like for example, we have an industrial electricity class that has a CCP in it.
where they can earn that college credit. And they're doing the same thing that the high school students doing already. So why not get that college credit if it's, something that they can obtain easily because they're already doing it in their lab, they love what they're doing. However, if something happens in between there, sometimes seniors, you get senioritis or something, they kind of lose focus and then the grades start to shift down. We want them to be successful because that grade is going to go with them forever on their college transcript. So, things to think about when you're looking at possibly doing this. Again, we'll help them as much as we can, but they do have to take some responsibility. I can't tell you enough stories of students coming in my office and crying because they didn't realize, like last year, I had a student that came to me and they said they wanted to do College Credit Plus, and that's all they did. They didn't sign up to take the test. They didn't sign up with the teacher that they wanted to do the class. They didn't take they didn't follow through to see if they were enrolled in the class. So this year they come and they're like, well, I need to get the scholarship. And they want to get the scholarship really badly, but then they realize, oh, I didn't get college credit for last year, but I did the work. Well, you didn't take the test, you didn't fill out the application, so I can't do it by osmosis. I can't just give you the college credit. So you've got to make sure you're doing, your student's doing every part that's possible. I don't mind if you call me and ask me to see where your student is in the process. I'm sure the colleges don't mind if you call and say, did my child actually submit the application correctly, or did they not? Because a lot of times they'll have to create logins at the college websites, and a lot of students think, oh, I did the login, I'm good. Well, no, there's an application that goes with the login. So you want to make sure you're doing every part to get that college credit. Back when we had paper applications at most of the colleges, a student thought they were signed up for the college math class, and when the teacher said, what grades the students were getting in their class, the student came, and said, well, I thought I was signed up for college credit. Well, where's your application? Because we never got it. Oh, it's in my locker. Well, that doesn't get you the college credit. So, it's very important for you guys to make sure that they're following everything that they're supposed to be doing because they're supposed to be college students. They're supposed to be taking that initiative. And we will try to help them as much as we can, but we can't do everything for them at that point. Our process here for our college books is our school will buy the books, and then what we do is, so our students have to give us their college schedule. If they're taking it on main campus, I will then go to the bookstore, purchase all the books that we need. It goes to the library. The library then, the student will check the book out here from the library here at Pioneer, and then they turn it back into the library. So as long as they turn it back in, they will not get charged for that book. It's a free book for them to use for that class. And the average cost of a college book is about $100, $150. So it's not cheap. Some, if you're going to health field, are about $200, $250. So, that's money you guys can be saving, that you want to be thinking about, like, if it's an advantage for your family. If it is, great, wonderful, we will help you. If you're thinking maybe this isn't the time for my kid, that's okay. That's fine too. And our superintendent, we don't have the requirement of the April 1st intent letter to participate. Our superintendent thinks anyone that wants to do it can go ahead and do it. So when you sign the gray enrollment form, you sign that actually that you understand that your student is possibly doing College Credit Plus and you understand the pros and cons of it. So we are open to students doing it. Our testing for a lot of the math classes will begin in the fall of their senior year. If they have it done beforehand, that helps a lot because we try to do it within that first couple weeks of school. If you can get it ahead, that's great. If you want to do the English class or the history class, it has to be done in the spring before your senior year. So if you come, our counselors are putting the schedules in the system in the spring of their junior year. So by senior year, we know if they're eligible for English, we know if they're eligible for history. If you've done the math part, we know that you're eligible for that, so you don't have to retest and feel like you're crammed into that first week of school to try to get everything done. Do you want to talk about the tuition freedom changes for their class?
For tuition freedom,
Juniors?
yes, I would love to talk about tuition. I was looking over at my boss, make sure, yes, I want to talk about it. I'm gonna actually go grab the, you know what, I'm gonna borrow this. Thank you. All right, so information on tuition freedom is over there by the lovely Carrie Bash. Wave to everybody, Carrie. Thanks, Carrie. All right, so for seniors who are going to be graduating, for juniors who are going to be going into the next year, we are still working out the requirements, but essentially, for students, if you finish 6 hours through North Central State, or articulated credit with Pioneer that comes into North Central State, and you do this with a 2.75 GPA or higher, you're eligible for the Tuition Freedom Scholarship. Basically what we're going to do is take 64 hours, which is the average amount for our associate's degree. We're going to take off whatever that you've earned. So let's say you come to North Central State, you take psychology and sociology. Those are both 3 classes, total of 6 hours. We are now going to take 58 hours of tuition and give it to you. You are going to have 58 hours covered. Now, Tuition Freedom is the last dollar scholarship, so if you happen to do your financial aid application and the government says, hey, we're paying for your whole degree, you don't have to worry about it. But if the government says, hey, we're only going to be paying for half, and you qualify for Tuition Freedom, this is going to kick in. Last dollar means that after all the grants and everything else is applied, if there's anything left over, this is going to pick that up as far as tuition goes. It doesn't cover books or lab fees or anything like that, but it will cover tuition. So again, 6 hours, 2.75 GPA, always subject to change, as is the way with college, but for juniors who are going to be graduating in the 19, I believe it's going to be 9 hours, so we'd have to get a little bit more. But again, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But information again by the lovely Carrie Bash. Wave again, Carrie, for everybody. Thank you again, Carrie. Make sure you pick one of these up on your way out the door.
So that might give you something to think about if you're thinking like you want to go on this Tuition Freedom Scholarship, that you would possibly need, if you're a junior, 9 college credits to qualify for the Tuition Freedom Scholarship, along with other additional requirements. That's what's going on. Are there any questions? I know there's probably.
Yeah, you said 9 for juniors and 6 for seniors?
Correct.
Yes.
As of right now.
If you're graduating 18, you have to have 6 either articulated credits or credits through North Central State. For juniors graduating 19, it's going to be 9 hours as of right now, and what I think to be true. Yes, the boss is nodding, so we'll go with that.
Okay, and are these 2 associated together? Or are these 2 separate programs?
The Tuition Freedom College Credit
and
Club.
the Tuition Freedom.
College,
2 separate, but they
Yes.
kind of tie in together.
yes.
Because if you don't have the college credit plus hours or the articulation, you can't get the Tuition Freedom Scholarship.
Right.
So that's why we kind of like to have that little plug in there, so you guys are aware that, like, again, we have had students this year who we thought wouldn't have enough college credit plus hours.
Who were kind of panicking because they wanted to, thank you, because they wanted to make sure that they had enough hours, but they didn't really, they were coming short on some hours. So then they were like, it's fall time, they're trying to figure out how to get those hours before graduation. So it's always nice to know ahead of time that next year's group, the juniors that are current juniors, are gonna have 9. So it's no longer gonna be 6 for those juniors. Okay, so that kind of helps you plan. So if you know your child that may be taking 2 classes in the fall, and if they're playing a sport is going to be way overwhelming for them, then maybe take 1 class in the summer and take 1 in the fall, because then you can space it out. So that's kind of where we like to make sure you guys are informed of that information.
The labs that have the credit with them,
Yes.
between your junior and your senior year, is it 6 hours?
Okay, so there's 3 different things, and I don't want to make it too confusing, but there's what's called articulation, and that's basically college credit that they're earning over their junior and senior year of lab credits, but they get an X, say in March of their senior year, their teacher will sign off saying, yes, the student is proficient in this college, and it's a specific agreement with a certain college.
Okay.
So we have agreements with Marion Tech, we have agreements with NC State for those certain courses. So those are marked then on the transcript that the college has the agreement, or the school has the agreement with of the college, and they're just marked as an X, meaning that they are proficient in that area. College Credit Plus, however, they get the grade. So for example, criminal justice has a course that is on their articulation that they can earn over the 2 years, but they also offer that class their senior year in their lab. If the student gets the X on that grade, it's only good for that 1 college. If they take it for College Credit Plus, they earn a grade that can be transferred to any state college in Ohio. Okay? It's confusing, believe me, I totally understand. I have to do this for a living, so this is why I know it, but you are more than welcome to come in and sit down individually to figure out where your child sits with those college credits, because I want to make sure that you guys, and all our counselors here always want to make sure that you guys know exactly what they need. And it's very important when the 30 hours they were talking about, a lot of times parents hear 30 hours of free college credit a year, woohoo! Well, not when you factor in the high school classes that they have to take. So a lot of times I'll say, you know what, come and meet with us, because we can give you that formula of exactly how many college credits your student can take for that year. Because sometimes we have students that are taking advantage of, which is great, taking that math class, taking a history class, and taking an English class, all in the fall semester. That's 9 college credits. So if they're going off of a regular high school kind of calendar, like schedule, they might be only eligible for 3 more classes for the whole year because of their high school and college. So I always say, make an appointment with your counselor so you can get that individual number of what you're eligible to take for free.
High school counselor?
Yes. Because they're going to know your high school graduation requirements. They're going to know what you can take for college credits. So it's best not to just do it and then find out you might be responsible for paying 6 hours. So we try to be very proactive here at Pioneer. We try to send out letters to you guys when your student is signed up for a college credit course to let you guys know, hey, you might want to be watching out for how many hours they are, because we wouldn't want you guys to get a check from the college, or a bill from the college, not a check, sorry. No checks. A bill from the college saying you now owe $400 and some before your child can graduate. We don't want that to happen. So we try to make sure if your student's going to do those college credit courses that they're aware of how much you have eligible for free tuition.
The other thing to keep in mind is we don't work on commission, so we don't want you paying for classes that you don't have to pay for. Our entire goal is to get you as many credits as free without going over the 30 limit. That's why Mrs. Escalera and your high school counselors are the most important people to talk to get the whole thing started.
Yes.
So the 9 credit hours, is that college hours or is that high school hours?
That's college hours.
So 3 credits for high school would count as 9 credits for college.
3 credits equal 1 high school credit. So for example, if a student is taking our English 1010, which is the English Comp 1 class, then that equals 3 credit hours at the college, but it's 1 high school credit
But
of
to be
English.
eligible for the freedom, it's considered 3.
You have to have 9 college credits,
But
which
that
is
would be-
3 classes.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, you want to make sure with the college, because a course might be at the college that's actually only 2 credits.
Right.
So you want to make sure you're actually getting a 3 credit hour class for each one that you're signing up for. Any other questions? I know it's fun stuff, right? Believe me, I understand, and we try to walk them through it as much as we can. And if you have a student that's going to nursing, you always want to make sure too, because there's so many different applications they have to do for college. They have to sign up for the college itself. They have to do the college credit plus if they're trying to earn the 9 credits or whatever that they need for college, for the tuition freedom. They also then have to apply for the program itself at the college. So a lot of times kids, students think oh, I signed up for the college, I'm good to be a nursing student. Well, not really. There's another requirement that you have to do to get into that specific program. So I always want to make sure that the student's aware of that. You had a question, right?
Yeah, is it too late for the school year right now to start?
To start for CCP?
CCP, yeah.
No, you can still, again, our superintendent is great to work with about that. So we don't follow that April 1st kind of deadline. He still says if you want to do it in the spring, you get signed up with the college, we will work with you. As long as we make sure that those hours aren't going over your eligibility.
So it depends on the deadline of the college then as far as.
Yep. Yeah.
Back
Yes.
to the lab question.
Mhm.
So as long as they're enrolled in the CCP, they will get some credit and eligibility for the 9 credit hours that they need by graduation.
Yes, and that's where it's good, again, to meet with your counselor, because that lovely terminology of articulation can get you so many hours, and so can the CCP. And you can use a combination to qualify for that scholarship. Yes. So say your program that you're in has an articulation agreement of 6 credit hours, and you take 1 CCP class worth 3 credit hours. That now gives you the 9. So they will combine the 2 to get you that scholarship. Okay. Yes.
Is that scholarship only available at NC State, or is that, okay.
Yeah, only NC State as of right now. Doesn't mean the other colleges don't have scholarships, though. They have their own individual.
Only come to NC State.
So just, you know, like, be aware of what, you know, it's always nice, again, to meet with the college that you want to go to. I know a lot of our health students, that they know they want to go into the health field, we'll tell them, okay, on their curriculum guideline, it says you need probability and statistics. So you've already taken Algebra 2, so maybe now you should take business math, because that would count as a math course for your field that you're wanting to go into. So we try to meet with those students to make sure that they're going down the right course, because who wants to take a class just to take a class? I mean, you want to make sure it's going to count for something. So if you can get that out of the way, why not get it out of the way? But we, again, you know, meet with your counselor, call, you know, your counselor up here at Pioneer, tell, you know, say what your plans are, what, you know, where you want to go to college, what track you want to go down to, you know, through, and we will try to meet with you. And a lot of times, I mean, we all talk to each other, so we will call up the colleges and say, look, I have a student that wants to go this track. You know, what do you think? Should they come over and meet with you guys right now to figure out what's going on for when they come over there? You know, what do they need to be successful? Any other questions? And you're more than welcome to ask us here a little bit afterwards if you want any more questions. Call us up. We're always willing to, you know, answer anything you might have question-wise. All right. Well, thanks for coming tonight. Appreciate it.